Did not Donald Trump in the United States of America who was asking the people of Africa, who was asking the black people of Africa to leave America and go back to their land? Is it not the same Donald Trump who was asking and chasing black people in America to go back to their land and go and develop their land, find a good leader for themselves? Is it not the same Donald Trump? What is your business with Captain Ibrahim Traoré? Now the good leader we have found, that you are asking us to leave your land. Now we go back to our land and we are now finding the good leaders who can develop Africa for us. You want to assassinate him? Let me tell you, Donald Trump, let me tell you, NATO, this generation is a different generation. You can never continually to be assassinating the good leaders of Africa. This generation, we have all the means, we have the media, we have every kind of power we can do to protect our leaders. This is not the time of Gaddafi. This is not the time of Nkrumah. This is not the time of Muhammad Patrice Lumumba. This is not the time of Stephen Biko, our great leader you have assassinated and overthrown him. This is not the time. This is a different generation. And we are ever ready to protest. We are ever ready to save our good leaders, because our leaders is for us. They are not for America. They are not for NATO. They are not for France. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is for Africa. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is for Ivory Coast. Captain Ibrahim Traoré is for Burkina Faso, and the time to protect him is now. We are uniting to save our good leader. Captain Ibrahim Traoré must live to see his good work. Thank you, youth of Africa. Share the life. Let's protest against them.
This is a warning to that American soldier who claims they want to overthrow Ibrahim Traoré. See, let me tell you something that you don't know. Africans are now wise. Africans are now sensible. Trying to get good schools, good hospitals, good life. You get it? So, you can't just stand up and go to somebody's country, or you can't just stand up to say whatever you want about somebody's country. You get me? This is a warning. You don't know the reason why we decided to be Russian. You don't know. We're fighting for the truth. We're fighting for the good life, for our future, for our families. So if you think that you are strong and you are brave, only you think you have sat down, you have made your inquiries, so you want to do something to Ibrahim Traoré, you are dealing with the whole Africa. And especially, you are dealing with Russian military. You are dealing with us, the Africans in the Russian military. I'm not afraid. That's why I'm doing this video. Trying to tell you that if you want to do something, think twice. Any country, I repeat myself, any country who tries again to try to blackmail any African country, you get prepared. You have to get prepared. So, why do you want us to always suffer? You want Africans to always suffer. You want Africans to always suffer. Bad schools, bad road. But all of you, every time you want good life, it's not going to happen anymore. It's not going to happen anymore. Africans are wise. Stand by Burkina Faso. Ibrahim Traoré.
And I'll push every propaganda, every type of video against that guy. I just pity the guy, yo. I pity that guy, to be very honest, because we see that they plan to do that guy. That's why we need to do every campaign as possible to make sure Ibrahim Traoré does not leave power. Because the likes of Ibrahim Traoré now then connect Africa, the dots together. Do you understand? If you notice, Nigerian politicians, they don't even talk about that side. They don't talk towards that side because more people like Ibrahim Traoré go make them know the thief again. People like Ibrahim Traoré will look them to their face. If you look somewhere like Tinubu, tell them, say, why for your regime they're the thief? Why? All the money will be steal. Imagine using 10 billion to come do solar. 10 billion to come do solar. That 10 billion will bring the Chinese company that do solar to this country. The Chinese company want to buy that solar from. It will bring them to Nigeria. They will have an assembling plant here in Nigeria. They will show the people how to do that solar. And we can be buying solar very cheap. But of course, this government, they are so daft. The other time I thought, say the people that are around the president, a lot of them get cockroach, they get cobwebs on their brain.
What would you do if your life was threatened, not once, not twice, but 18 times? In the heart of West Africa, a 34-year-old geologist turned soldier has become the most haunted leader on the continent. His crime? Daring to dream of an Africa that controls its own dignity. They have tried bombs, they have deployed mercenaries, they have even turned his own military against him. But Ibrahim Traoré is still standing. And the question that keeps his enemies up at night is simple. Why can't we unalive him? Welcome to the Strategic Lens on Africa Today, where today we are going beyond the headlines to uncover one of the most remarkable stories of survival on the African continent. Now, before we dive into the assassination plots, let me paint you a picture of Burkina Faso. This landlocked nation of 21 million people has long been caught between forces beyond its control. Colonial exploitation, terrorist insurgencies, and economic hardship have shaped its turbulent history. Many compare Traoré to Thomas Sankara, Burkina Faso's revolutionary leader of the 1980s, who was assassinated after daring to challenge France's grip on the country. And here's where things get interesting. Ibrahim Traoré wasn't born into a privileged family. Raised in the small town of Bondokui, he studied geology at a university, and by 2010, he joined the military. His rise through the ranks was rapid, serving in UN peacekeeping missions in Mali and earning commendments for his leadership in counter-terrorism operations. But in 2022, Burkina Faso was in crisis. Islamist insurgents had taken control over 40% of the country's territory. And the military, led by Paul-Henri Damiba, had already staged one coup that January. On September 30th, 2022, Captain Ibrahim Traoré led a second coup, declaring that Damiba had failed to address the security situation. At 34, he became the world's youngest head of state, launching more than 18 much-needed factories in Burkina Faso within 6 months. But here's what most media won't tell you. Ibrahim Traoré wasn't just any power-hungry military man. He even refused an increase in his salary when he became the head of state. He chose instead to maintain his salary as a commander, since he was a commander before taking power. His first actions in power sent shockwaves in power halls in Paris and Washington. He expelled French troops, cancelled exploitative mining contracts, forged new alliances with Russia, and began implementing policies reminiscent of Thomas Sankara's revolutionary vision, from mandating locally made clothing for public servants to freezing corrupt officials' assets. And that's when the assassination plots began. The first plot came just months after Traoré took power. January 2023, intelligence services intercept communications revealing a chilling plan. A bomb was to be planted at Traoré's residence during the African Cup of Nations match, when security was most distracted. Now think about this for a moment. How would you feel knowing that while you were watching a football match, someone was planning to blow up your home? The conspirators even had a backup plan. If the bomb failed, an ambush would be set on his motorcade the following day. But how did Burkina Faso's intelligence service uncover this plot? This is where our story takes its first surprising turn. Multiple sources indicate that Russia's foreign intelligence services provided the crucial tip-off, sharing names of conspirators and details of the plan just hours before it was set to happen. But then what most people don't understand is that this assassination attempt was not an isolated incident. It was the first in what would become a pattern. a concerted campaign to eliminate a leader who dared to challenge the established order. By September 2023, authorities announced they had foiled another coup attempt. Lieutenant Colonel Everett Sumner and former government minister Prosper Basole were among those arrested. But here is what makes this case particularly fascinating. The threats of this plot led directly to the man Traoré had just overthrown, Paul Henri Damiba, who had fled to neighboring Togo. And behind Damiba, a network of interests that didn't want to see Burkina Faso chart its own course. But the most shocking attempt was yet to come. What's the price of a president's life? In Burkina Faso, apparently, it's 5 million. The plan was as audacious as it was simple. The influential figure, whose identity has never been publicly revealed, arrived in Burkina Faso. He deliberately cultivated relationships with soldiers in Traoré's inner security circle. If you could help me eliminate Ibrahim Traoré, he told them, I'm going to pay you over $5 million. The soldiers appeared to accept. The mysterious figure paid them the $5 million and gave them special ammunition. When you are near Ibrahim Traoré, just take out your guns and hit him with his bullets, and boom, you are rich. But in a remarkable turn of events, these soldiers went to Ibrahim Traoré and revealed everything to him and handed over the money and evidence. We have been paid with this money to earn your life, they reportedly told him, but we are allies. We can't do this to you. What would you have done if you were in Traoré's position? Who would you trust if people are offering money, millions of dollars, to your guards, your closest guards, to end your life? The mastermind was arrested and charged with treason, but his identity and who he was working for remain closely guarded secrets. Now, this raises very profound questions. Who has $5 million to lose to eliminate the leader of one of Africa's most poorest countries? And what interests are so threatened by Traoré's leadership that they will go to such extents? Contrary to what many people believe, Burkina Faso is not poor. Burkina Faso is the 4th largest producer of gold in Africa. And just for a reminder, more than half of all gold that is mined, that have been mined on earth, comes from Africa. Burkina Faso has significant deposits of zinc, lithium, manganese, and many other rare minerals. Its cotton is prized worldwide. For decades, these resources flowed out of the country, primarily benefiting foreign corporations and the local elite who facilitated these arrangements. Many assume that terrorism is the biggest threat to Burkina Faso. But what if I told you that terrorism might be actually a tool that is used by external powers to control mineral resources within this region? Ibrahim Traoré himself has suggested this connection, pointing out that terrorist activities mysteriously intensified after he expelled French forces and cancelled exploitative mining contracts. Then there is the regional dimension. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, heavily influenced by France, imposed sanctions on Burkina Faso and even threatened it with military intervention. What we are witnessing isn't just one man's survival. It's about the future of resource sovereignty in Africa. And caught in the middle of this struggle is a global power competition. As France's influence wanes, Russia has stepped in, providing security assistance, intelligence support, and diplomatic backing to Traoré's government. Most Western media portray this as Russia opportunistically expanding its influence. But for Burkina Faso's perspective, this partnership offers something France never did: respect for their sovereignty and security support without the colonial baggage. And this explains why, despite Western criticism of his authoritarian leadership, Traoré enjoys widespread popular support at home, especially among young people who see him as fighting for their future. These assassination attempts on Ibrahim Traoré aren't just about removing one man. They are about suppressing an idea. The dangerous idea that African countries can't control their own resources and chart their own destiny. Despite the constant threats to his life, Traoré has initiated ambitious projects, from local manufacturing initiatives to agricultural reforms. He mobilized thousands of civilians, volunteers to defend communities against terrorist attacks. Areas once controlled by jihadis are gradually being reclaimed. Markets are reopening and more than 400 schools have reopened. But the question remains, can this revolutionary vision survive? History is littered with African leaders who challenged the status quo only to be eliminated. From Patrice Lumumba to Thomas Sankara. And Ibrahim Traoré knows this. He keeps a picture of Thomas Sankara in his office and often quotes him. And like Sankara, he lives relatively modestly, refusing the luxuries that comes with power. You know what's remarkable about Ibrahim Traoré? It's not just his survival against the odds. Is that he hasn't become paranoid or reclusive despite the constant threats. He still appears in public, meets with citizens and pushes forward with his vision. And across Africa, his example is inspiring the new generation to question established order. From Mali to Guinea, from Niger to the diaspora, young Africans are asking, what if we too control our own resources? What if we too charted our own destiny? The assassins may still be plotting, the geopolitical chess players may still be moving their pieces, but something has fundamentally changed in Burkina Faso and beyond. The story about Ibrahim Traoré's survival is still being written, and honestly, I don't know how it ends. Will he succeed where others have failed? Will the forces arrayed around him eventually prevail? What I do know is that each assassination attempt that fails makes the idea he represents even stronger, that African resources should benefit African people, and that even the smallest nations have the right to determine their own future. So I'm curious, do you think that leaders like Ibrahim Traoré represent the future of Africa, or do you think they are fighting forces that are too strong to overcome? Share your thoughts in the comments below. This has been The Strategic Lens, looking beyond the headlines to understand the forces that are shaping our world. And until next time, keep your lens focused.